Woo, Nelly. Good morning, allies. I slept like crap. And I slept 8 hours. So, what the hell? A little quiet before the storm. We're gonna have a salad, delicious salad, and some soup before Leia and I sit down to enjoy the debates, because we got home a little too late, so we're gonna wait for the stream to finish and then we're gonna rewatch it. I'm so good at this. I started recording onto a recorder and I didn't even have the camera on. Leia and I are doing a little live recording here. We're gonna live react. I keep saying live and I probably shouldn't. Let's just watch the debate. How's that sound?
Clap.
The debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The commission has designed the format. 6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment.
Chris Wallace. I actually like Chris Wallace.
Wow.
Chris Wallace is kind of a good guy.
You know why they're having Chris Wallace?
Because he's slightly bipartisan or slightly right.
Person to welcome you.
He's slightly right, but the Republicans have basically abandoned Trump as their candidate.
To be quiet.
So Chris Wallace did a pretty good job right out the bat, like setting the rules down there. But Leia, what'd you say?
It's like, what was the point of being in the audience if you can't boo or cheer or...
I don't know, they're just looking for more Ken Bones or something like that. I don't get what it is.
And the Republican nominee for president, Mr. Trump.
Why are the debates where people aren't asking questions? Is there even an audience?
I don't know. I guess maybe for... I don't know why. Yeah, why would you even offer that up to be a potential problem?
You're not allowed to make a sound, but you can be in the room.
To make a sound? To potentially make a sound?
Oh, so that people know at home when something is totally awful that people couldn't help but make a sound.
They gasp.
Right? Yeah.
Or unless like somebody could claim that that didn't really happen and they falsified the whole thing. There's so many eyewitnesses, how could they falsify it?
Well, that's an interesting point.
Namely, what kind of country are we going to be? What kind of opportunities will we provide for our citizens? What kind of rights will Americans have?
Is she wearing an Ellen DeGeneres suit?
Oh, all she wears is like pantsuits, like Maoist pantsuits. Have you noticed that?
Maoist?
Yeah, they're like Mao pantsuits. You ever notice that?
Are you saying it's Maoist because of the pockets? Or
No, because of that flat front. That flat front, like, gray suit. She looks like Kim Jong-un or like a Maoist. You've never seen any of the pictures where they line her up next to the...
No, I've seen her in the red pantsuit, but today in the white pantsuit, it's got like kind of a Ellen DeGeneres look to me. But
This is like dressed down. Like she looks better than what she normally wears, those crazy pantsuits.
Needs to stand on the side of the American people, not on the side of the powerful, corporations, and the wealthy.
So right off the beginning, with the whole Supreme Court comment from Hillary that the Supreme Court needs to be on the side of the people and against or not in favor of the big businesses, the Supreme Court needs to be on the side of the Constitution and what's legal and lawful in protecting those basic rights. That's the point. Like, not what the people want. If the majority of the people say they want to ban Twitter, that doesn't mean you go ban Twitter because the Supreme Court has that power in turning over a law or creating or whatever. Anyway, don't want to get into that, but they don't get to do that. That's not what the Supreme Court does. It focuses on the Constitution. Wow, that's already... I was supposed to be funny. We were both supposed to be funny. I'm already getting heat.
For me, that means that we need a Supreme Court that will stand up on behalf of women's rights, undermine the election system in our country because of the way it permits dark, unaccountable...
So typically when I'm watching these debates, I'm really only listening. I don't sit down and actually
Oh, you have to look at you have to watch. Trump is crazy.
Trump is so fidgety.
Yeah, I know! I know!
His eyes look like mouths.
Yes!
Like I never realized.
You haven't seen the video where they take his mouth and they superimpose it over his eyes when he's talking?
He has such mouth eyes.
Okay, Did you notice anything else like different about what's interesting about this shot that they've been using? These are some of the only debates where they've ever done this. Why is this important?
Putting them side by side.
Why is that important?
Because they want to show how the other candidate is reacting.
No. But it is also that, but there's a more important thing.
No, but yes.
No, but yes. What is that most important thing? The thing I bring up every time.
I don't know.
Generally, the tallest candidate wins.
Oh, look at how tall Hillary's hair is.
Hillary is tall, yo.
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, and thank you, everybody. The Supreme Court, it's what it's all about. Our country is it's just so imperative that we have the right justice.
He quite literally has hungry eyes.
Well, first of all, I support the Second Amendment. I lived in Arkansas for 18 wonderful years. I represented upstate New York. I understand and respect the tradition of gun ownership. We have 33,000 people a year who die from guns.
The 33,000 people dying from guns is such an overloaded term that includes suicides and that includes gang members, people who, there are already laws, they already get guns, and they shoot people in use of crime. That makes up the majority of deaths.
I think we need comprehensive background checks. We need to close the online loophole, close the gun show loophole. There's other...
Gun show loophole. There it is. Gun show loophole. She's still using the tired gun show loophole line. This does not exist. There's thousands of videos on YouTube. I won't explain why.
How will you ensure the Second Amendment is protected? You just heard Secretary Clinton's answer.
I love that they have that big timer behind him. The moderator. I love that.
Have they never asked a Second Amendment question before?
They don't really talk about the Second Amendment. They haven't been talking about the Second Amendment.
Bring on a conservative thinker.
Yeah.
To bring up the topic.
Yeah. They usually don't talk about guns. They haven't been talking about guns very much. I mean, they do, and understand, I didn't see the first debate. I only watched clips, and I only saw, like, more than half of the last debate. But this, yeah, guns. Not a big topic.
Well, I was upset because, unfortunately, dozens of toddlers injure themselves, even kill people with guns.
Dozens of toddlers! Literally dozens, okay? If it was hundreds of toddlers, I wouldn't say, let's strip our rights away. And that's a parenting problem. If the toddlers are getting guns, how are they not getting knives and poisons and sticking things into the crayons into the ground connection on the plug in the living room where we plug in our vacuum? Wait, what am I talking about?
Because, unfortunately, not everyone who has loaded guns in their homes takes appropriate precautions.
So we have the toughest laws, and you have tremendous gun violence. I am a very strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and I don't know if Hillary was saying it in a sarcastic manner, but I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the NRA, and it's the earliest endorsement they've ever given to anybody who ran for president.
So I like Donald's response here, but also keep in mind, he was claiming that he didn't like guns. He didn't like the concept of guns. This was years ago, and I don't know the full context of it. I only watched the clip that I saw, the short clip, so I can appreciate any pushback. But his comment is right here. His comment is correct. Chicago has the most laws, most violence. Laws don't mean we'll have less gun violence. It just means we'll have less people armed with guns. And that means the majority, good people. Yeah, everybody can get behind that, right?
One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out. We're going to get them out. We're going to secure the border. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Bad hombres.
We will be doing very much better with Mexico on trade deals, believe me. The NAFTA deal signed by her husband's one of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody.
Does Trump talk this way because he thinks it's actually relatable?
I don't know, but he's very New York. He is very New York when he talks. Like, it is a New York person talking to someone. Actually, like, he's trying to, like, be New York, but not be that, like, offensive New York sounding, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
What kind of trips me out is that I think this is what he thinks the everyman sounds like. And
this is, like, normal decorum of a flyover state individual.
But what's even more scary is he may understand the role and the vernacular and the colloquialisms he's using, but there's a large part of the country that's buying in.
It's a disaster. Hillary Clinton wanted the wall. Hillary Clinton fought for the wall in 2006 or thereabouts.
He underpaid undocumented workers, and when they complained, he basically said what a lot of employers do: you complain, I'll get you deported.
So I have to give respect where respect is due, and Hillary nailed Donald on he used undocumented labor to build his Trump Towers and probably multiple other of his projects. I mean, we can't really prove that, but undocumented workers are kind of everywhere. You can't really not employ undocumented workers at a certain level because you subcontract out. You can't know every person who works for you, or you can, you're just not going to get a lot done that particular day. But still, regardless, she hit him on that, and it is a slight hypocrisy on his, right, Leia? What do you think? Huh?
Agreed. When we were doing our House edition, we didn't check the IDs and citizenship of every worker that Gabriel brought through here.
Right.
I want to get everybody out of the shadows, get the economy working, and not let employers like Donald exploit undocumented workers, which hurts them but also hurts American workers.
Okay, both candidates are completely wrong on this, okay? And I don't have the answer for this, but at the same time, I have to point out how illogical this is. These people fled a country that is corrupt and doesn't do what it's supposed to do and doesn't create a situation for people to want to live there, and they come here and they commit crimes. Heinous crimes in some cases. And what we think is a good idea is to package them all up and ship them back to where they came from? How do we have any guarantee that they will serve the time for the crime that they committed? And why would a corrupt country that's barely making ends meet as it is now incarcerate them because some other state, other country said, yeah, these guys are dicks. You should totally put them in prison. Like, what? Why? What incentive do they have?
Free transportation to your Mexico vacation.
Why? What incentive does Mexico or any other country, this is not a Mexican thing, have to take our criminals that are illegal immigrants, fair enough, but take them and say like, oh, you got us. Okay, we're just going to take our people back that fled to your country because they wanted to live there, and we're going to try them and commit them to internment for crimes that they committed on your soil. Why? Why would anybody do that? No one's going to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
Mr. Trump.
President Obama has moved millions of people out. Nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it. But under Obama, millions of people have been moved out of this country. They've been deported. She doesn't want to say that, but that's what's happened. And that's what's happened big league.
What is big league?
What is bigly? What is bigly? That is what's happened bigly. Bigly. It could be Wrigley, like Wrigley Field, like a full-size amount of people.
Does he mean largely? He just made up his own word?
Bigly. 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 Dude, I don't know what you're... I can't even make a joke right now from that. Bigly.
Smally.
As far as moving these people out and moving, we either have a country or we don't. We're a country of laws. We either have a border or we don't. Now, you can come back in and you can become a citizen.
Leia just said this is the best. I had the best comment on Bigly. That is something Ben would come up with. So basically, Ben for president. 2020? Is that our next go? 2020.
Oh, I think Paul Ryan might be running in 2020.
He's not going to use Bigly. Let me tell you. Like, not in the way. No one will use Bigly as good as Ben uses Bigly in 2020.
I'm telling you, Bigly's like the name of a dog. I thought
it's very it's very English. Very English. It's very
Bigly,
English.
I thought he was addressing somebody.
It's like Bigly, bring the Bentley around. Let's go, Bigly.
Quoting from WikiLeaks, and what's really important about WikiLeaks is that the Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private people, of institutions. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet.
This touches close to home with me when Hillary makes a claim that the Russians or WikiLeaks or whatever is doing something, espionage or hacking or whatever, and they're figuring this stuff out. The problem isn't that they figured this stuff out. The problem is that the individuals who are perpetrating this lie consciously went about their days doing it and being dishonest to the people. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Particularly being involved in what I do, I hate the idea that anything is done that violates the trust of the American people. And so when I hear this, like, well, yeah, I kept an email server, but the Russians hacked it. Well, that's not the problem. They hacked it because they thought you were an asshole, and they were right. And okay, sure, they're gonna hack regardless, but they were right in this case. So we can't not look. I mean, yeah, okay, don't hack, got it, sure, but we wouldn't have known about you, how bad you were, if it wasn't for these things. The very things that you hit Trump upon are the things you yourself are guilty of. It's just, yeah, I hate when people make that argument.
Those are the questions we need answered. We've never had anything like this happen in any of our elections before.
That was a great pivot off the fact that she wants open borders, okay? How did we get onto Putin?
Hold on.
Open borders indeed.
I have long said that candidates shouldn't be judged on the topics that they're speaking on or how convincing they are, but how far they can segue from one point onto their agenda.
Yeah, exactly. and that's literally what happened. Is she wanted to make a point against Trump to Russia, and she segued off of, what was it?
Open borders.
Open borders. The Russians aren't flooding our borders.
She wants open borders. People are going to pour into our country. People are going to come in from Syria. She wants 550% more people than Barack Obama. And he has thousands and thousands of people. They have no idea where they come from. And you see, we are going to stop radical Islamic terrorism in this country.
So there's one thing that I disagree with Trump on a lot. It's immigration. And when we're talking about thousands of people, even hundreds of thousands of people, that's kind of a drop in the bucket if you compare that to 300 million people, which is the population of the United States. So either we have the space to handle those people or we don't, and that should be the argument. It shouldn't be that we have too many people and we don't like them because they are the same type of color or race or whatever as terrorists, that we need to stop them from coming here. That's a poor argument, because I mean, I wouldn't be married to the wife I have today if it was for different immigration policies. If Nixon didn't change his policies regarding refugees of Vietnam, like, I probably wouldn't be married right now. Or maybe I would, but I bet it would be a lot worse. I love you, Leia.
I think that this is such an unprecedented situation. We've never had a foreign government trying to interfere in our election. We have 17 intelligence agencies.
The comment that we've never had another foreign entity get involved in our election system is blatantly a lie. That is not true. I'm not going to pull up a bunch of details, but to say that this is the first time is not fair. That's not fair at all. Their politicking, their information, their ads, everything they do, their people that talk back to us, whatever. Totally, no, not true.
Person who has been very cavalier, even casual, about the use of nuclear weapons. He's advocated more.
Wrong. I just like the way he says it.
Countries getting them: Japan, Korea, even Saudi Arabia.
All I said is we have to renegotiate these agreements because our country cannot afford to defend Saudi Arabia, Japan, Germany, South Korea, and many other places. We cannot continue to afford. She took that as...
So, in possibly one of the most, like, non-interventionist, good constitutional comments Trump made the evening, he was saying that we can't afford to keep defending countries like Syria, Japan even, and even Korea in some extents. There's a balancing act that has to be done. Obviously, Korea probably needs a little bit more support than Japan. Syria's got some problems, but, I mean, there are other people that are willing to jump in there. You can disagree with me if you like. Tell me if you disagree in the comments.
You know, go ahead, enjoy yourselves, folks. That kind
And
of
defend
language,
yourselves.
the
Defend
United
yourselves. I didn't say
States has
nuclear.
kept
And
the
defend
peace.
yourself.
Defend yourselves. Very important. We as a country should encourage other countries to defend themselves, and we pull ourselves back, because why are we getting involved with other people's countries? Let's defend ourselves with our superior technology and let them defend themselves with whatever technology they have. And we could even sell them technology. Wouldn't that be great?
I feel strongly that we have to have an education system that starts with preschool and goes through college. That's why I want more technical education in high schools and in community colleges, real apprenticeships to prepare young people for the jobs of the future. I want to make college debt-free. And
what does college debt-free actually mean? What does that mean? Like, you pay what you have? So only the rich people have to pay? Like, I don't know what that means. Or there's just college is free.
Or reducing the cost of tuition so that it doesn't require taking out loans, or doing programs like they have now where if you opt to do a specific job in a certain area, that they forgive your...
I mean, it's too complicated to answer. There's too many options. Yeah. She's providing no options. She just said debt-free, which, like, warning flares start shooting out of the back of my brain when I start hearing stuff like that.
Will cost us jobs and possibly lead to another great recession.
Secretary, thank you. Mr. Trump, why will...
I need to reply to this directly, because I think that it's not going to get enough airtime. That this 2/3 budget cut thing, you have to understand, if you decided one year to start smoking and start drinking heavily and buy a new car cash or on credit or whatever, and do all these other things, and then you spend the next 5 years paying down these massive bills that you started stacking up, well, that's still on you. The deficit that was created was largely because of TARP and the pork spending and all that stuff that was from Obama. It was from when Obama took office. This is largely not his fault. It's the fault of Congress. It's the fault of the whole government. But he doesn't get to free himself of it and only claim credit for 2/3 reduction. 2/3 reduction just takes him to the highest point of the Bush years. So keep that in mind when you hear things like 2/3. You're only 2/3 better than the worst thing you did when you came in office, which was horrible. Horrible, horrible. The most of all time. Understand that.
Because in many ways, it is similar to the Obama stimulus plan in 2009, which has led to the slowest GDP growth since 1949.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
This is a moderator who is doing a good job, because he hits both Trump and he hits Hillary equally. But this is much more devastating. And again, going back to what I was saying, if you focus on the economics are what's important. All these social issues largely don't matter. It's how you put food on your table and the money you can keep in your bank account that's really important. And if Hillary's plan looks a lot like the stimulus package from 2009, that's what sunk the country into the worst spot it's ever been in. And that's what Obama claims is this 2/3 climb that he did out of his deficit. She's just trying to recreate what he did, which is sink the country, blame the Republicans, and then the Republicans get out of the office, Congress and the Senate, and then she can prop it back up and go like, look how great we did. This is all theory and hypothetical talk, but that's what Obama did, and she's saying that her system looks the same. Okay, that's bad news for us. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, also known as the allies, it is almost 12 a.m. and I have not even gotten anywhere close to being done. Here's my light, all my stuff that I've been working with. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm going to try to use the audio. I don't know if that's going to work or not. But anyway, this is going to have to be a two-parter. I cannot do it in one part. Question of the day. Before you see the two-part, the second part, the second part, how do you think Trump did? How do you think Hillary did? Did you change your mind? Actually, that's the more important thing. Question of the day, did you change your mind? Because nobody's changing their mind on the third debate, right? Am I wrong? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I would love it. I'd appreciate it. I'd also really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. If you have not already, please subscribe. And if you haven't, and you're inclined to, share this with your friends, all your buddies on the socials. I'd love that. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Tomorrow, what are we doing? Well, it really depends on what happens tomorrow. Am I up all night editing, which is not a good idea. That I have to work from home and work late? Well, then who knows when I finish this video.